Hello everybody, welcome to the Star Wars Journey to the Rise of Skywalker, obviously releasing in December, so I'm going to go through and review the whole Star Wars franchise in release order. Obviously the release date from the first movie, which we're going to be reviewing today, A Star Wars New Hope, of course. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Star Wars A New Hope. This is a PG action-adventure fantasy movie around 2 hours long, being released in 1977. Luke Skywalker joins forces with a Jedi Knight, a cocky pilot, a Wookiee, and 2 droids to save the galaxy, as well as an attempt to rescue Princess Leia from Darth Vader. Let's jump straight into the good points. Now, the good points about this movie is this movie is so inspiring to many other creators around the world, to franchises, to filmmakers, to directors, to writers, everybody. Most movies don't live up to what this movie tried to do, and that just is so epic overall. This movie overall won 6 Oscars, winning for sound effects, best effects and visuals, best film editing, best sound, best costume design, best art direction and set decoration. In total winning 58 awards, which is absolutely amazing. Now, first off, we have to start off with the score. John Williams really making something so purely inspiring, mesmerizing, whatever word you want to use, is completely great. And no wonder the guy got nominated for so many awards, because just hearing this score, you hear someone hum this theme song, you know exactly what it is. You hear the first 5 seconds of it, you know what it is. It's just so iconic, so epic, and so great to hear. Director and writer George Lucas deserves a lot of praise for this movie, of course. Being at the time it was in 1977, he took a lot of risks with this movie, so really done a fantastic job. His creative mind and work being brought to the screen here was absolutely great. The reason it was great was because he was bringing a galaxy to life. All these characters, we've got different types of non-human beings and human beings mixed together in this story, and being brought together in a way where George Lucas handles it so well. He manages to create a world which is completely awesome. You really wish he was a part of this world. It is so great to look at. But where George Lucas really shines is his writing. He really does great with the writing in this movie, because he creates a lot of great character arcs, as well as mixing that with a great storyline. It really is genius. The story overall, I think it's a great story, pretty much what a fantasy movie brings. Good versus evil, saving the galaxy, saving the princess. These are all this action adventure fantasy type stories, so it fits the genre very well. Then we obviously go into the character arcs of the movie. Really, they're so interesting. Each character's got a different personality, or a different way of speaking, or a different purpose in their life, in their destiny and stuff like that. It's just so epic, especially when it comes to the character of Luke Skywalker in this movie. Such a key character, of course, to this story. A young man working for his aunt and uncle, pretty much, and discovers he has a whole new purpose to life. As well as with all these characters that are so interesting and so cool, the chemistry between these are really great as well. The thing with this movie is it mixes so many genres together. Obviously we've got action, adventure, fantasy, but there's a hint of sci-fi in there, there's a hint of romance in there, there's hints of everything in this movie, so many genres, and the fact that it doesn't feel too jumbled, it feels actually right and feels like consistent, is really great. The movie introduces one of the best villains in film history of all time. Obviously talking about Darth Vader, the man himself. This guy is truly strong, he's truly intimidating. The voice, obviously so iconic because of the breathing. Pretty much, I know it probably sounded terrible on the mic, but really, it's so iconic, it's so unbelievable. You know, as soon as you see Darth Vader, something bad's about to happen, and especially how we see Obi-Wan die, against Darth Vader. Now, a lot of people tend to gun down this obviously fight. It didn't live up to expectations, but really Obi-Wan, if you think about it, had a purpose of why he was there in the first place. It wasn't supposed to be this big battle sequence, and obviously knowing that the movie went through some production problems, they maybe didn't want to go all out on these obviously battles as they do further on in the franchise, of course. And not only that, if you think of Darth Vader, how he kills people with his bare hands, when he lifts a guy off the ground and pretty much breaks his neck with just one hand, pure brutal, pure scary, and just such a great character. Now, technically, for the movie, in its time in the 70s, it really is great. A lot of people tend to go back and say, oh, rewatching it, the effects are bad and stuff like that, but you got to expect that. Really, overall, it's truly awesome, the technical side, because the effects, the sound effects, the costume design, we can go on about locations, everything really is truly amazing. But the thing that impresses me most about the technical side is the effects and how it still holds up today. Now, the music, I've already spoke about the score of the movie, but the music throughout the movie is so key to the movie because it really sets tones for the certain scenes that you're watching, and it really gets you interested and hooked into the movie, which really keeps watching you from the beginning to the end. Talking about the tone of the movie I felt was very good throughout the movie as well. Really, right from the get-go, the tones you see from that first opening shot. Obviously, the rebels are being taken over or taken down by the Empire, and you notice the tone of the music just hits, and you know something bad is happening. Then you get introduced, obviously, to the Stormtroopers and Darth Vader and so on, and then you start seeing where this story is going. And as we get to the end, we end on a light note, obviously, and it really, throughout the movie, is just so special with how they use the music with the tone. It's such a great chemistry. One thing I have to applaud with this movie is the risk-taking. The fact that this movie came out in 1977, and the fact that the studio gave George Lucas all free reign, pretty much. George Lucas himself taking risks, and all the other people in production and stuff like that, how much risk they took with this type of movie. The fact that nobody believed in it apart from George Lucas and the studio and stuff. It just deserves a massive round of applause because this movie and this franchise is one of the biggest franchises around. Obviously, this is one of the biggest movies in the franchise as well, but the fact they had to convince people, like fans and stuff, that this is going to be a good movie, as well as obviously people who are going to distribute the movie, and the fact that George Lucas remained confident in his work is truly applaudable. And knowing that the movie had production issues again, which I've already mentioned, it makes it feel even better, and when you even respect it even a little bit more. Now, the cast and their performances were truly amazing. We start off with Mark Hamill being introduced as Luke Skywalker. Now, this is a character which gets very mown down for this movie, especially because he can be quite whiny and stuff, but really I felt Mark Hamill's performance as the character, he's only following what George Lucas has given him and all the writing team and stuff, so really I think he done a great job with his character. And Luke Skywalker as a character really develops from the beginning of this movie all the way to the end. It's such a great character arc, and Mark Hamill really portrays it very well. Harrison Ford being introduced, obviously being known as Indiana Jones around that sort of time, he's being introduced as Han Solo. Han Solo, what more can we say about this guy? He's pretty much badass, and you know he's badass from the moment we see him in that introduction. Carrie Fisher playing as Princess Leia, another interesting character which you see in the beginning of the movie, obviously being taken by Darth Vader, and she's pretty much stands her ground with him as well, so you really get to see a sort of character behind her which really is enjoyable. She doesn't just go, oh, she pretty much is smart, and she, by sending that message for her to get help pretty much, as well as being stubborn and obviously courageous to stand up against a big guy like Darth Vader, really is somewhat enjoyable. Another thing with these two characters, Princess Leia and Han Solo, their chemistry between this movie and many other movies coming forward, their chemistry is really great. And the big star of this movie is Alec Guinness, obviously playing as Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi, however you want to say it. This guy is terrific. I heard a lot of stories reading into this and seeing a lot about this, that pretty much most of them were mucking about on set, and then when this guy stood on the set, he was the big deal. You knew you had to act and really perform to your best. So this guy brings a great presence on screen, off screen, everything. So he is a complete genius. But not only that, the overall Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi character in this movie is somewhat inspiring, because if you think about it, he is the mentor to Luke Skywalker in this movie. He helps him throughout the movie, and he's just a cool, interesting guy, and all of his speeches as well is really truly epic. But also with these main characters which I've just spoken about, we have some great side characters in the movie. We've got the likes of obviously C-3PO, R2-D2. These two really mix well, are somewhat really enjoyable, one of the most iconic pairs in movie history in my opinion. Then we have the likes of Chewbacca, Chewie really going alongside Han Solo. They're the duo there, and I really love Chewie. He's so iconic as well with the pretty much, that was a terrible impression. But not only that, we have also Luke's aunt and uncle in this movie, which I found quite enjoyable as well. They weren't in the movie a lot, but what purpose they had in the story, which was really, really good. The fact that all these characters that are side characters add purpose to the movie and also give us some unforgettable moments, which really I still cherish, is great. In this movie, of course, we get space battle sequences. You get obviously all the crafts and everything's going full at it. The Millennium Falcon in here as well. So it's just so great. It really is great to see. All the lasers being shot, all the explosions. There's just so much greatness going on in space as well as obviously on the planets. The overall best thing I find with this movie is the fact that this is one of very few movies which really start off at a strong point and get better all the way through the movie. You normally have little dips in movies, but this really gets better all the way to the end, and you really enjoy it as a whole new experience every time you watch it. Talking quickly about a couple of favourite scenes of mine, I've got 3 that really stand out to me from when I first watched this movie to obviously rewatching it lately. And the first one is Luke Skywalker going home to his aunt and uncle and finding their bodies being burnt and dead. That is truly iconic, and it sounds really bad that I remember that scene, but it's just truly iconic because Mark Hamill really performed that scene very well. You get to see the devastation in the character's face and everything. It was just a sort of character arc moment which was needed for him to go to his destiny, towards the path he was meant to be. So it was something that was really iconic for me remembering. And obviously already mentioning Han Solo's introduction, where you see him in that bar shooting that obviously thing, and it's just so badass pretty much overall. The last scene I really remember and enjoy is Luke Skywalker being given the lightsaber from Obi-Wan, and it's just such a great conversation that they're having, as well as experiencing a lightsaber. Everything just comes together in that scene, really great. On to the bad points. Only a few little nitpicky bad points with this movie. The first thing being the pacing of the movie. The pacing of the movie is quite annoying, even though you've got great tones throughout, and the movie does get better. There is parts of the movie where you feel like, okay, it's getting better, but it needs to be a bit quicker there. It's taking its time to get where it needs to be. So I find the pacing in this movie a little bit annoying, especially if you think about the opening rolling credits and stuff and how long it takes to get through the movie, the way they handled that, and then only all the stuff that happens on there, how suddenly it quickly changes, and things go wrong with this movie when it comes to the pacing overall, in my opinion. Second thing for me is the script. I feel like it's very dated, especially with some of the humour. It's okay, but sometimes a little bit cringy. Even for Han Solo's character, his comedy is normally better a little bit later on in the franchise, in my opinion. Rewatching it now, maybe years ago it obviously was great, and maybe it still is great to some people now, but for me personally, I thought the script was a little bit yeah. But then obviously we do get some good moments in the script, of course, as I've already mentioned, some great conversations between Obi-Wan and Luke, and then obviously Obi-Wan and other characters, as well as obviously Han Solo and Chewie, and you get all these great moments in there as well. But the last bad point for me is you can feel, and when you watch it, you can somehow feel and see that there was production problems. Whether that's the obviously the visual effects, whether that's even bloopers being added into this movie because they didn't have time to reshoot and stuff like that, just really goes to show that there was some problems, but you can sort of accept it, but they are noticeable. So guys, it's rating time. Let's have a look what the critics had to rate this movie. We have IMDb giving it a 8.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes giving it a 93%. And Metacritic giving it a 90. My rating for this movie is a 9 out of 10. That makes this an amazing movie. Overall, guys, this is truly an inspiring movie, inspiring franchise, one of my favourite franchises, and truly somehow, every time I watch it, I enjoy it every single time. I watch this movie yearly and this franchise yearly. I go through it every year. It's just so enjoyable. This movie is awesome, a true classic, and a definite must-watch. So guys, a 9 out of 10 for Star Wars A New Hope. Don't forget to let me know your ratings and thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you agree? My thoughts and my rating, let me know in that comment section, of course. We have not finished the journey yet. We have only just begun. We're going all the way through to the new release in December of Rise of the Skywalker. Apparently closing off this saga. I'm really excited to see that movie. So this is a great build up. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it, of course. Please do stay tuned on the channel because Monday's release is going to be the next review on the channel for The Empire Strikes Back, another great movie in the franchise, of course. I don't want you guys to miss it, so please do stay tuned on this channel by subscribing and hitting that bell. And guys, if you enjoyed this review, please do smash that thumbs up button. It helps the channel out massively. And don't forget to comment down below your thoughts overall on this movie, as well as your ratings for this movie overall. As well as, guys, don't forget to stay tuned for other movie reviews coming up on the channel, as well as top 10s, as well as trailer reactions. I'm going to try and get back into them as well. Now I'm officially back on the channel. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you next time, guys, on Talking with Jay Springer.